Thank you, everyone, for dropping your name and your location in the chat. It's good to see everyone. We'll give it just a minute. If you're joining now, please include a note of introduction in the chat. Thank you. And let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, colleagues, and thank you for joining this first ever digital fundraising meetup in which we will share inspiring examples of successful impact giving initiatives from across the UNDP network. Thank you all for joining this morning. It's really exciting to see the turnout and many of our colleagues from across the network. Today we're joined by 4 campaign leaders, including Álvaro Pena, from the head of solutions mapping at the Accelerator Labs in UNDP Uruguay, Farida Ahmatiy, head of solutions mapping at the Accelerator Labs UNDP Uzbekistan, Niran Nirannoot, project manager at BIOFIN from UNDP Thailand, Rawad Rizk, from project manager UNDP IRH, Alternative Finance Lab. And the 4 teams will share presentations that illustrate their work in crowdfunding. Following their presentations, we will have a short question and answer period for each of the teams, followed by a collective question and answer for all of the teams. And then we will spend a few minutes talking about UNDP's programmatic offer, which are the tools that can be used to get a campaign off the ground and opportunities for crowdfunding training and support. Just a quick note before we get started, thanks to Svetla Beva, Claudia Poklaba, and Ekin Selike for organizing. And over to Álvaro to share his slides and get us started. If you're just joining the presentation now, please drop your name and your location in the chat to introduce yourselves so we can get to know who's on the call. Thank you. Over to you, Álvaro.
Thank you for the invitation. And I'm here on behalf of the whole country office in our country. So I will share my screen. I have a brief presentation that I would like to share with you about the Plantathon initiative. So everything started after the Crowdfunding Academy. It was on March, from March to May, and we started to have some regular meetings with the ministries and the NGOs and also the communities, coordinate a lot of visits to the places that we were looking for to develop a crowdfunding campaign, because we were aware that we like to highlight the importance of our native forest and how we could increase the awareness of preserving our ecosystems in our country. So after that process, on June, we started our first campaign in our country related to a sustainable development goal that was Plantathon campaign. That was only a 40 days campaign. You will see there the pipeline. I won't talk too much about that, but I would also like to share that there are a lot of resources at UNDP that you can use for the sake of a crowdfunding campaign. So after 40 days of campaign, our initial goal was to achieve 1,000 trees, and that the aim was to plant those trees in an area that was very important for the east side of the country. The place is Punta del Diablo, and the goal was $15,000. So after 40 days of campaign, we achieved that goal, but also we also joke about it because by the end of the 40 days, we achieved 1,111 trees. And we also joke that each one number is a tree. So After that, we closed the campaign and we start working. So I would like to share less than 1 minute of
1.111 árboles comprados a 7 viveros locales, más de 20 diferentes tipos de especies.
Let me see, let me check, I can reshare my screen. Yes, it's with sound, so sorry.
Más de 150 personas aportando un árbol, 5 empresas comprometidas con nuestro ecosistema, más de 100 voluntarios los días de la plantación y una comunidad local muy comprometida por la restauración del bosque nativo. Todo esto hizo posible la plantación de más de 1000 árboles nativos en Punta del Diablo. Cada árbol plantado representa a una persona comprometida con nuestro ecosistema. Gracias a todas las personas que se sumaron a Plantatón.
So just to sum up the process, I can share also with you that, let me see, that all the efforts that we have developed together, and when I'm saying together, there are a lot of areas inside this office that were involved. So this was an initiative that we embarked all together as a country office. So we work on a website and UNDP social network. We developed some blogs and Medium, and thanks also to the help of the global colleagues at UNDP, we developed some videos, newsletters, and some posts on the media. And also we ask for help for voluntary influencers, and also use the Google Ads and in social media that could also help us to gain more visibility. And thanks to that, we gain support from more than 14 countries. And also we develop a program with a global bank here that the clients could redeem their miles and change that for a tree. Just to the last slide will be related to what we offer to the people that were engaged with this campaign. So first one, the personalized email with a certificate, the invitation to plant those trees, the display also the contributions on the website, the acknowledgement in social networks for the private sector, and also some logos on the website and the final video. So just to sum up the process, I could say that it was the first time that we embarked on a crowdfunding campaign. And it was very helpful for the sake of raising awareness, because in 40 days, we have people from different sectors talking about the importance of native forest restoration. So it is our goal was beyond a figure. It was beyond to raise funds for an initiative that, of course, it was very important for us. So thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you so much, Álvaro. If anyone has any questions at the moment, so after each key speaker, we have a little time for questions. If you do, you can drop them in the chat or in the Q&A box. Otherwise, we'll proceed to the next speaker, but feel free to drop them and we'll ask them at a later stage in our session. We have one question from Enrique. Could you tell us a little bit what was one of the key factors in the success of your campaign?
Well, that's a great question. I think it is very important to have presence on the media. So it wasn't common here, for example, in our office to be part of at the prime time in our TV shows, or I mean in the news or something like that, because we gain a lot of visibility. But also, I would admit that you can sit down and wait. The people come to your campaign. You have to be very active. So, for example, in the private sector, that were very important for our campaign, we also tried to map all the companies or some companies that we were aware that were keen on the sustainable development goals, or have some initiatives that were very related with preserving ecosystem or native forest restoration and so on. So there is a work that you have to do in order to look for those companies that could also be your champions and also engage as in another level. For example, the bank that I mentioned, Itaú Bank, who developed this redeem miles process that was very surprising for us how the people were engaged on that.
Thanks so much, Álvaro. We'll take one more question and then we'll proceed with the next speaker. It's about what were the ways, the tactics that you used to mobilize community volunteers?
Well, that's a great question also. In our case, we are aware that the people that is connecting with someone with an ecologist movement or that are worried about our environment is very engaged about this kind of initiatives. So it wasn't hard to get people involved because also the Plantathon initiative was an initiative itself. So we didn't start from the scratch in this process. So for example, that initiative involves also on the board of that initiative is the network of NGOs related with environment. So just from the beginning, we had a lot of people engaged with our process, but of course, we had to develop a lot of engagement in the community itself where we were working. And so this is also a process or work to do before deciding where you are going to plant the trees. Because in our case, we look for that place because it was, they have some conditions. And when we actually saw that there are a lot of community work around also the importance of preserving ecosystem or native forest restoration. So there is also a way to do that and to use every channel and every possibility that you have to connect with that people. And that's why it was important to engage also the influencers, because they were not environmental influencers. They were Instagrammers, and very important in our countries, but they were actually fond of this kind of activities. So it was also a powerful way to engage with other people.
Thanks, Álvaro. I think your presentation sparked a lot of interest. There's a couple of questions in the Q&A box, and I think you can respond to them in writing. So thank you so much. We'll continue with Farida Ahmatiy, who's head of solutions mapping at the Accelerator Lab at UNDP Uzbekistan. So over to you.
Thank you, Svetla. Hello, colleagues. Let me just share my screen. Okay. I'm from the UNDP Uzbekistan, head of the solutions mapping, Farida, and I would like today to share with you our experience on a crowdfunding campaign on Green RLC for the RLC region. And just briefly to say, just to give you the background information of the RLC, it's a global catastrophic event that happened, and in 50 years, the sea lost 90% of its water. And you can see, comparing to the other countries, what is the size of the water that has been lost. And the problem is just that the salt and the dust and the toxic salts around the region, they're spreading globally and within the region, and it's dramatically influencing on the climate change. And that's why we decided to start one of our first initiatives tackling that issue. And when we started doing the initiative, we saw as a RLC region from the different perspectives, from the environment, social and cultural, technological, for example, to set up the crowdfunding platform. Social, it's raising awareness among locally and globally. Political, on supporting government in planting the saxaul trees, because I just have to say that it's not just a simple planting tree process. The soil on the seabed is toxic, and it does not have aiding water, so it's a very challenging planting environment. For the initiative, we had our main objectives was to testing out the crowdfunding for afforestation on the dry seabed. We also was trying to try our innovative approach for planting tree in the toxic soils, because it's a, again, challenging process. And another one is using platform and awareness raising tool to inform how does this disaster impact the region and the global community. And we also wanted to be a part of the larger SDG integration effort in the region within the UNDP. And the first thing that we did, there was a huge work that has been done behind the scenes. We thought that it's very important to set up a digital platform so people could know about, to have this information, what is happening in the RLC region and how they can help and to make the effort. We also created the phone-friendly app where people can go through their phones and also to make donations from there. The donation summary, we just wanted to have a not only local involvement of people on supporting the crowdfunding, we also try to do it globally, and we set up for the our foreigner donators the platforms through the Classy UNDP platform. We are happy to say that we actually reactivate this platform because before it was kind of like not active. And from Uzbekistan platform, where you can donate national currency, we also did it through the different payment system where people can just with one click can donate their donation, to make donations to us. In total, we started the campaign, just to mention, in 2020, just before the pandemic, because that's why we had a very challenging time during the COVID. All over, we raised more than $63,000 US. And it's important to say that we also involved large corporations as Huawei, McAfee, for example, and UPL. And just to say that during the 3 years, we planted more than 540,000 trees. We did for $1 it was not a one tree, it was actually 7-8 trees, because the survival rate for the soil is very low, and that's why we also tried to do it with the hydrogels. We experimented that. So it also helped us to increase the survival rate of the plant. And this is just the region of the sea. This is like a sea of the, and you can see here the soil. It's a dry soil with like a toxic salt. So it's a challenging process. We also try to establish long partnership with the private sector. As I said, one of our green champions, and they are donating every year. It's a Huawei, for example. We also have our big supporters, for example, from Tashkent International School, where youth are helping us also to with the fundraising and also with the increasing awareness. And just to say that for us, the crowdfunding, and since the beginning, it was not only about the collecting funds, it was about the mobilizing people around the world with this idea on and giving them this platform to express their voices and take an action. That's why we set it up the website with the comprehensive information. We also engaged all the time on the social media. We promoted, we designed the video with our local celebrities. We conducted a lot of interviews during the 3 years and workshops, webinar, podcasts with foreigner bloggers, with local bloggers. So it's been a very intense on terms of awareness raising. And this is just like some insights that we got. It's important for when you're setting up the crowdfunding campaign to have allies on supporting you with your PR awareness raising campaign. It's important to regularly provide monitoring process and reporting to your people who give you donation. It's also very important to maintain your social media and have this connection with the global community. And of course, the follow-up outreach events and the allies. For us, it's been youth in Uzbekistan. They were very active supporting, and they were spreading the word around their network as well. This is just an example. We have an Instagram page, Facebook page, and again, the last but not the least, the crowdfunding, it's a crowd inspiring. We've got so many, like a lot of feedback from around the world, from people, like from students in middle school in Uzbekistan and across the world, from the United States, from Europe, all over the world. So that's why we think for us, we are still doing this mission. We gave this initiative to our big program, UNDP program that works in Karakalpakstan region, UNDP program, and it's still alive. It still gets donation, and we're happy to see that people still get engaged. So yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you will have.
Thank you so much, Farida. Yes, wonderful, really inspiring to see how this campaign has developed over the years. We have one question, which is a bit technical, very important in its essence. How did you decide to what platform to use in terms of crowdfunding? And as I saw, you actually use multiple platforms. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and your choices behind it?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. Yeah, the first, as I said, we set it up the website. We decided that we, in order to ask for people for help and to support us, we need to give them information, and that's why we try to do the website, the separate website. We also thought that if some people do not have an access to the computer, so they could use it like a phone-friendly version of it. At the same time, we knew, and also with the suggestions was from our colleagues from the region, we also been suggested that it's good to have like a social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. Facebook was one of the most successful, I think, because we spread the word about the Green RLC among our network. And we have, all of us, we have a big network of people, and they started sharing among their friends and colleagues. So that's how it grows, actually. This is the way you should grow your campaign. And on the Instagram, it was interesting to see the insights. The local youth got engaged through the Instagram because they use it more. That's how we've got actually the Tashkent International School that got engaged with us. So it's better if you have a chance to use the many platforms that you can, it's good, but you also have to keep them alive. You have to post information, what is happening, how many donations you got, how many trees you plant, and to give the feedback, because it's important so people would know what is happening with the cause and with the donations that they give.
And in terms of crowdfunding platform, you used Classy and other types of.
Yeah, we use Classy, and we, as I said, reactivated it kind of like at that time. The funding goes through the international donations. They go through the Classy platform to UNDP globally, and then it goes to our country office, to our account. And from the local, we did with the local banks, with the local system, and we engaged those payment system that you can do online. It's actually also very helpful. They have a donation, like a part in their apps where people can just directly pay from there. It's very easy and it's very fast.
Thank you so much, Farida. Actually, we will be discussing a little bit about the Classy platform a little later when we present our UNDP programmatic offer. So I think in terms of time, we will continue with our next speaker, which is Niran Nirannoot, who is the project manager at BIOFIN UNDP Thailand. So over to you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Niran. Thanks so much for having Thailand with everyone here. The campaign that I want to share with all of you, the title is Got Tao, Better Together. Got Tao is the name of the island in the southern part of Thailand. Before I start, I think everyone knows about the COVID-19. You know, those 2 years ago, this thing happened to all of us, and this had a big impact in Thailand because we are one of the top destinations in the world that people want to come to Thailand. And you can imagine that those local community who rely mostly on, income from tourists, they are the most vulnerable group of people. This campaign, before we start this campaign, BIOFIN worked on different finance solutions, but during the COVID, we cannot travel to the area, and then we think maybe this is the best way to launch the crowdfunding finance solution. The government of Thailand tackled this COVID by, introducing a lockdown approach, meaning no one can come to Thailand, and we also cannot travel. And you can imagine how the situation happened in our country, and maybe in your country the same, right? So the finance solution that we introduced, it was the time when Got people, they were about to implement different finance solution, but then they cannot do it. This crowdfunding is the process that we raise funds from multiple donors in Thailand. The crowd that we mentioned here, I will tell you later who are those crowd. You can see from this picture, when we launched this project in October, we got key stakeholder, and we organized this at the UN premises, and we can gain a lot of attraction from different donors. And this is the key, the stage where we launched this campaign. This is the area called Koh Tao in the southern part of Thailand. Here, a small, tiny island, but it is one of the top 10 diving sites in the world. And we have around like 500,000 of tourists coming to this area. But with that, this small island also need to tackle with all different problems, the coral reef, waste, different story that I share later. This is the landscape of the area where we are introducing crowdfunding. When we introduce this crowdfunding finance solution, we want to get people recovered from the COVID-19. Imagine those people who rely on income from tourists. During those period of COVID, they receive zero, they cannot cope with this. And we think, all right, we will introduce the concept of better together, meaning we launched the campaign by introducing the platform that we use with our bank, Krung Thai Bank. We introduced the concept of cash forward, meaning local community can receive money at 100 baht per month, and they return their favor to the donors by collecting marine debris. So we collect, when we select 200 beneficiaries, we work closely with local governments and other stakeholders in order to make sure that they are the most vulnerable group of people. This tourist boat driver, they register with the municipality office, and they come to work on a daily basis, and we pay them on a regular, on weekly basis. So they can help solve the global issue by collecting more than 40 tons of marine debris. And this is the way we reskill them, how they can learn on waste management. Let me share you about the stage when we introduced the crowdfunding approach in Thailand. During the design, I think UNDP is one, we provide a strong investment case for donor to be part of this campaign, and we can manage to get our initial donor who put their money 30% of our target upfront, and they guarantee that they want to cover if we cannot achieve our target. And this is the most important technique that we learned from the AltFinLab when we learned from the program. And the selection of beneficiaries, I mentioned again, you make sure that you select the right beneficiaries, and then you will create a strong story. During the launch of the campaign and the running of the campaign, it's important to have the narrative of the campaign. This one we link with the environment and human. So we put human and environment together when we introduce the campaign. And we have utilized the platform that help people to pay and donate by using the QR code system in Thailand. And people can easily scan that QR code and then donate the money, and money will come to the bank account that we set up together with the local government units. And as our previous colleague mentioned, key factor is you communicate the story. We reach out to 3 million IG followers with support of a celebrity in Thailand. And also, after the campaign finished, we monitor the impact of our intervention. We work closely with NGO and the government. I think this is the approach that I want to share with all of you. And this is the impact that go beyond the crowdfunding. We can create a women group that we provide financial literacy training. We reskill those taxi drivers how to do waste management. We also support youth group to learn how to do marine debris collection. We set up a fisher folk group, and later they set up the environmental and social fund. And I just came back from Koh Tao. We just participate in organizing a green market so that local community can sell their products. This is the impact beyond the crowdfunding. So the key success factor for our crowdfunding in Thailand, I think Thai people love to do merit making, meaning they feel happy every time when they can, support others. And the credibility of the receiver, I mean, those people, vulnerable group of people in Koh Tao, they are the one who just not receive free money, but they pay back by collecting marine debris. I think this is how we create the credibility and the efficacy of the money. We didn't ask for like a big amount. In Thailand, people pay $1, $2, and those small money counts, and we can achieve our target at 143%. And, I start my presentation with the New York Times newspaper, and I want to close the presentation by sharing with you that New York Times features the story from Koh Tao, and they came to our area and interviewed those people, and they create such a powerful story for us. I think that's all for me. Thank you so much. Over.
Thank you so much, Niran. Really, really inspiring, and really inspiring to also see the aftermath of the whole campaign and what crowdfunding can really do to pull together the community and different stakeholders. If there's any questions for Niran, please feel free to drop them in the chat or in the Q&A box. But I'd like to kick off the questions just to ask you in terms of engaging international support. And we know that that's really difficult when we're talking about particular local issues or regional issues. What were the kind of the tactics, ways you tried to do that to bring in international donors, even individual donors for your campaign?
Yes, the platform that we introduced to international donors is the Classy, the one that our colleague mentioned. I already mentioned that Koh Tao is one of the top 10 diving sites. So people who miss coming to this area, they want to be part of this conservation. When we introduced the program, we received a donation from people from all over the world, and they said they really miss coming here and they want to support. So when you link the story with the international donor, you have to come up with the narrative, and they know that people suffer from this COVID-19. And the platform that I mentioned, we have another one for local Thai citizens that have a tax incentive. But for the Classy platform, I think it's very reliable, and you create credibility for those who want to donate for this campaign. Over.
Thank you so much, Niran. I think we can now go forward with our next speaker, which is Rawad Rizk. He's the project manager at the Alternative Finance Lab at UNDP IRH. So over to you, Rawad.
Yeah, thank you, Svetla. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we hear you well.
Okay, great. So hi, everyone. My name is Rawad, and I'm talking to you from Lebanon. So I'll share my experience that we had in Lebanon. This dates back to 2009, 2010. It was really early, and I think it was a bit challenging because now you have Claudia, you have Gwen, you have an individual giving part of UNDP, but back then it was really challenging for us. But since we have a large diaspora, and we thought we should tap into crowdfunding to explore it and raise funds. And since then, we managed to raise funds for 70 projects. So today I'll be sharing some of the success stories of these projects, but I wanted to tell you that the first few projects weren't successful, but still we decided that we should continue, and we're really happy now in 2023 that we took this route. This is maybe one of the longest projects in UNDP Lebanon. It's been there since I don't know, maybe 12, 13 years. So we're really proud of it. So we looked at innovative solutions for the problems that we have in the country, and we looked at also at national projects. So we had, we did some projects at, like 15K, maybe 20K, but some other projects. But all the projects that had a national kind of aspect of it were more successful, and we focused on high impact and high visibility. So I will start by sharing the motor ambulance project, and this is an idea that came from one of our interns. Unfortunately, he lost his brother during a football game because the ambulance didn't reach on time. So his mom started an NGO called Champs Fund, and they started distributing AEDs. If you know what an AED is when you have a heart attack and the paramedics come, they use that machine on your chest. So they started putting AEDs in football fields and university and all of that. And after a few brainstorming with our colleague, with the intern, we thought maybe we should take it to the next level, and instead of just doing an AED in different locations and training people, why don't we come up with or do kind of like a mini ambulance? And since we have a lot of traffic and it's really difficult for an ambulance to reach on time, so we came up with the motor ambulance, which is basically a motorcycle, very well equipped. You have the oxygen tank, anything you need from an ambulance. And whenever there's like an emergency, they're able to reach in a few minutes. And this is how the project started. So we were able to raise $60,000 at the beginning from individuals. And then we did a really good campaign. So we had a TV channel with us called LBCI. And then one of the banks heard about our story, and they decided to fund us with another $240,000. So in total, we were able to raise around $300,000 to equip and train 26 bikes and around, I think, more than 200 paramedics from the civil defense. But the important aspect of this project is that it didn't happen very quickly. So at the beginning, we went to the Red Cross. They were afraid, they said, maybe this is very risky for our paramedics. So we went to the civil defense and they basically work, they report to the Minister of Interior, and he was against the idea. So it took us 2 years to get the approval once the minister was changed. So we reached out to the new minister, and it was a very nice lady, and she immediately gave us the okay for the project. So since then, we have done, the paramedics have done around 2,000 critical missions and, around 2,000 regular missions. Critical means like death situation. So they were able to reach in a few minutes. So this is really an exciting story. I've added also the YouTube link to the campaign, so you can check it out. We'll be sharing the presentation. So that's one of the projects that we did. The other one was really a very innovative project. So we looked at the problem that we have in the country, which is potholes. So if you're driving in Lebanon, in Beirut, you're going to destroy your car because of the potholes. We have some potholes that are probably 2 meters big. And that was really a long-term kind of problem in the country, and no one was fixing it. So we did some research, and we brought a technology from UK, which is called Velocity. It's a patching machine. So basically it goes and fixes the pothole in a few seconds. And we launched a campaign. We had a TV channel. This time we had a different TV channel with us, and they were talking about us all the time. So the campaign was very successful. What we did also, we kind of developed an icon on the application of that TV channel. They have around 3 million downloads. So if you're driving and you see a pothole, you can just click a button and we will receive a report. So the first 7 days, we received around 20,000 requests to fix potholes, and we started going around and fixing potholes for free. So anyone who sends us a request, we'll send them an email with a before-after picture of that. And every week on the news, for around 8 months, we were reporting the potholes. So there was a video on primetime news on the location where we go. So anytime we go to a place, it was like there's a wedding. Everyone's there. It's like an ice cream truck. Everyone goes. They're very happy, and it was really a successful campaign. So we managed to raise $600,000. Our plan was to do a campaign for 1 month, but it lasted for 8 months. We had co-funding also from municipalities, so they joined us and they started also paying. And we did around 4 TVCs for free. And also, we won the best advertising campaign for the MENA region. That was in 2017-18. So in total, we fixed 9,000 potholes in 2017, and now in 2022, the project was revived. So we're doing that also with the same partners. So my third project is related to the environment. We started a volunteering program with the youth volunteering program, and we started cleaning beaches, waterfalls, forests. And we realized that hunting is very common in Lebanon. So we found a lot of hunting cartridges in the forest. So we started collecting them. And after a year, we had 39 tons, 5 million cartridges collected. And the way we funded this project was very nice, because we went to an individual in the diaspora, a very nice lady, and we told her, look, we need $50,000 to collect cartridges, and we don't have any machines that can recycle them. So we need money also to build the machine. We did that in a very creative way. So we told her, look, we're going to post a video on the hunting cartridges awareness video, and if we manage to get 1,000 shares, we'd like you to donate to the campaign $50,000. And she did, and we managed to get the 1,000 shares. So we did a competition for university students. They sent us prototypes of different machines, and we chose one of them. So that was the final year project for engineering student at NDU University. They built the machine, we gave it to an NGO, and we gave them all the cartridges. I think until now, they're still recycling them because the amount was really huge. So our last project, and this is due to the crisis in electricity that we're facing in the country. So Bakhoun is a school in the north of Lebanon. They have a really crisis with the electricity, so they cannot use their lab. They have only electricity for 1 hour a day. So we decided to create a crowdfunding campaign for them to install solar PVs. So that was done with an NGO called LCES. So we did that. We raised around $40,000, and we were able to install solar PVs. And the funding came from different donors from the diaspora and all over the world. So this is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rawad, for really presenting a wealth of different types of projects and how crowdfunding can be used in very different ways. In the interest of time, I think we will proceed with the presentation of our UNDP programmatic offer. And if there are any questions for Rawad, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A box in the meantime, as he's really presented a lot of things, and there's a lot of experience behind that. So thank you so much. And over to you, Claudia.
Thank you, Svetla. Hi, everyone. So we are gonna start with the programmatic offer of UNDP related to crowdfunding. So first of all, let me start with the team. I'm going a little bit backwards. This is our digital fundraising team. We work together in the Crowdfunding Academy and also providing support for country office crisis campaigns. We already met Svetla and Wayne and Rawad, but together with us today is Robert, Ekin, Haidena, Cynthia, Ben, Boyan, and Amal. As I said, all of us work together supporting country offices when they want to launch crowdfunding campaigns. So you'll see a lot of us if you're interested in launching your campaign too. A little bit more about our team. They know at the Digital Partnerships team at Vera headquarters. So our team is basically divided in 3 core areas. We have digital partnerships. For that, we have the partnership with Samsung that started in 2019. And in 2020, we launched Generation 17, a youth global program. We are working on creating new digital partnerships. This is mainly one of our 3 core areas. Then we have, of course, corporate giving. We have our central campaign of crowdfunding that started again in 2020 with the COVID-19 crisis. And we decided to launch like a global campaign for UNDP, and we call this our central campaign. And of course, today we learn a lot about the country office's work, and this is part of our impact giving work as well. We support country office, as I mentioned before, on launching their crowdfunding campaign. We provide training and resources, and also we created a website. It's called Impact Giving. I think it was already shared on the chat. That you can access to that website and see all the past campaigns, current campaigns, and also successful cases to learn more about individual giving at UNDP. And I want to also share a little bit more about like our roadmap and story. As I said, like in 2020 with the COVID-19 crisis, there were like the first self-country office campaigns that were launched in response of this pandemic. The offer actually was formalized with a partnership with the Alternative Finance Lab, and that's how we created the Crowdfunding Academy team. We decided then to start to develop templates on our Classy platform to start launching different campaigns to respond to the country office demand. During that year, only the RBA campaigns raised around $850,000. Actually, like the funds from were bigger because we added like campaigns from BIOFIN, for example. So I think in that only in that year we raised more than $1 million for crisis campaigns. Then in 2020, we wanted to formalize more these initiatives, so we decided to create the Crowdfunding Academy. The Crowdfunding Academy is basically a 7-week training in which we provide capacity building, basically related to individual giving, and we try to select around 10 teams so we can provide better personalized mentorship. In the first year, we have like 40 teams that applied. We selected, as I said, like a small amount of teams, and 11 campaigns were launched. Between 2020 and 2021, we mobilized like $2.8 million with all these different campaigns. Some of them you already heard about them today on today's call. Also in 2021, through a partnership with the Chief Digital Office, we got access to a Google Ads grant. Actually, we are trying to, every time we have a new campaign, we are trying to incentivize the team to use this Google Ads grant because it enables the team to use Google search ads for free. 2022 for us was a year in which we started to work more again, like the partnership with Google and trying to extend like the grant, and we did it. And also for this year, the grant was extended as well. We work more on the impact giving page that today you can find all the different campaigns that we have. We started a pilot with blockchain solutions that this year we're hoping to launch. We improve our crowdfunding offer. We have like different toolkits and we updated them. So country office also can, and different units can access to updated resources related to crowdfunding. And a little bit more about our 4 pillars of our crowdfunding offer. We basically have like 4 different sections. Every time there is like a crisis campaign or like an interest on a crowdfunding campaign. So what we offer, first of all, in terms of the platform and the administration of itself, we offer access to our corporate digital fundraising platform, which is Classy. It was mentioned some of the during this call again because some of the teams are using it. It's not mandatory for like all the teams to use Classy. It's a resource that it's available and for free for the units, but we also encourage sometimes, depending on what's the crowdfunding market in the region, to use local platforms as well. So for that, we provide the access to the tool. We, as I said, we have also different training videos and tracking tools. So we provide different like resources related to how to actually build this page. And then we, together with the Alternative Finance Lab, we provide training, and we created a community on SparkBlue that I'll invite you everyone to join. It's our crowdfunding community of practice, and you can follow it and get more updates related to these different webinars that we're hosting. We host also once a year a crowdfunding academy. We're still planning the next academy, so please stay in touch so you can get more information about it. And we try to always provide like best practice guidance and other resources. You can actually find best practices on our crowdfunding community of practice, where you can see like the case, for example, of Uruguay or the case of Thailand, and you can get like more detailed information there as well. In terms of financial operations, we use the Better Management Support Unit, MSU. We do a financial reconciliation every month. For that, we need a chart of account. Every time there is a campaign that wants to use Classy, we request this chart of account so we can do the monthly reconciliation. And in terms of legal restrictions, we actually ask the country office to actually comply with these country regulations. We all are aware that like we're following the regional regulations. And then in terms of marketing support, through Bera, we actually provide like communication support through our global channels. So every time, again, there's like a new campaign, we encourage the teams to create a blog so we can post it on our global website. We try to get posts on our UNDP central account. And also, as I mentioned before, we encourage them to create some Google search ads through the Google Ads grant. We try always to support the teams on their marketing strategy as well, and their partnership strategy. So that's something that we are always working together with the Alternatives Finance Lab team. Then just to finalize a little bit more about like the financial side and what is like our work with Classy. So as I said, like all the country office have the option to use Classy. So the donations will go to this website, and then we pay as donation processor. And all these donations go to UNDP central bank account. And for that, like that's why we need the chart of account. So every month we have our finance specialists like doing the monthly reconciliations. Also, donors can opt in our email account. So the thing if the donors decide to opt in is that like you start to get like build like a mailing list that will be actually helpful when you want to do like a mailing campaign, for example. So we try to do this like monthly reconciliation together with the country office. So that's why like we have to always have a communication focal point and a financial focal point. So our like different specialists can communicate with them every time there is like a need related to these topics. So now over to Ekin for the result.
Yeah, thank you so much, Claudia. My name is Ekin Çelikyay. I'm also working as a part of Istanbul Regional Hub Innovation Team, and I work as a mentor, as Claudia mentioned, in the crowdfunding academies. Now, in this slide, I want to mention a bit more on the overall results of our work within the UNDP. So our crowdfunding academy, we focus more on providing training and mentorship program for the UNDP teams, country teams, and the project teams. And our team has 7 years of experience in this field, and we organized the first crowdfunding academy in Istanbul in 2015. And after that, we replicated the academy in various countries. More than 20 times we organized these crowdfunding academies, and more than 500 participants participated in our academies. And in total, we launched 120 campaigns, and they were implemented in various countries. In addition to this, we focused on preparing resource materials and toolkits. We organized monthly webinars, talks, and master classes. You can also find them in the Spark Blue, as Claudia mentioned. And also within UNDP, we created 3 aggregating platforms together as one, Live Lebanon and Green Crowds. And when we look at the 2 years for UNDP, as Claudia mentioned, our campaigns mobilized $2.8 million. And overall, we launched 17 crowdfunding campaigns with the country offices. And we organized 4 crowdfunding academy in this last 2 years. And we had more than 40 teams from the country offices with us in these academies. In the next slide, I would like to mention a bit more on the crisis context. Thank you. So when any crisis occur, country office team decide to initiate a campaign for fundraising purposes, for capturing the attention, awareness raising, for creating additional visibility. if they have any solid response activities to design a campaign, they reach out to our team. So the consultations start with the BERA digital fundraising and marketing team and our alternative finance lab team. And then a focal point assigned from our side for this crisis campaigns. And then we start with the planning sessions. So together with this team, we define the campaign strategy, and then we provide access to this online materials that we have in Sparks Blue. And in addition to this online materials, we provide mentorship support, meaning together with this crisis focal point, together with communications consultants or visual experts or regional communication colleagues when needed, we provide the mentorship support to design and develop this campaign. And then we have this corporate digital fundraising platform, as explained earlier, Classy. So we give access to this platform to launch their campaign. And in addition to this, we provide central marketing support from the UNDP channels to increase the campaign outreach, which was explained by Claudia earlier. And I also want to show about the platforms that we are using in the next slide. So you can get more information about our impact giving campaigns and our crowdfunding academy in this platforms. We also put it in the chat box. So we have this impact giving website. It's a dedicated website to promote our current campaigns, and also you can find more information on the past crowdfunding campaigns that was launched by the UNDP teams. And in the Sparks Blue page, we have the community of practice. We have access for the UNDP colleagues for all the tools that is prepared, the news, the good case practices, the discussions, contact details, where you can find more detail. Please join us in the Sparks Blue as well. And now I would like to give over to the Svetla, to mention about our digital fundraising meetups.
Thank you so much, Ekin and Claudia. So we've kickstarted these meetups. We mean them to be monthly meetups every couple of weeks. The idea is really to bring together everyone within UNDP who has had previous experience in crowdfunding, but also anyone who's interested in using crowdfunding as a tool, as it's really, of course, it is a tool to fundraise, but it's really much more than that. So these webinars are an opportunity for us to harness good practices, to elevate stories within UNDP of successful campaigns and really take the core of those insights and bring them to everyone, as well as to bring on board different experts within UNDP, but also outside of UNDP to try to really bring together a community that's interested in using crowdfunding and more generally digital fundraising and how we can do this better. As you can see on the slide, we have a couple of ideas, sessions already in the pipeline. We'll be reaching out to you with our next meetups, which are scheduled for next month. But I definitely encourage any of you who are here today and or those listening to the recording afterwards, if you're interested in a specific topic, for example, if there's something that you really want to dive into in terms of skills, feel free to reach out to us with ideas. We'd be happy to take them on board. I think we can go to the next slide. Yes.
Thank you, Svetla. So first of all, thank you, everyone. I know we stay a little bit over the time, but if you're interested to get to know more about the Crowdfunding Academy and also our work in crowdfunding at UNDP, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. On the slide, you can see our emails. We're going to put them on the chat as well. So if you have any more questions or like you're interested in like developing a crowdfunding campaign, you can send us an email.
I'll just close with a few comments. Because I just want to thank you all for joining and also thank our presenters and organizers and encourage you all, as Claudia and Svetla have said, to join future meetup sessions, expanding your learning about digital fundraising. Please also spread the word. Invite your country office colleagues to join as well, because this space is really about team effort. If there's one thing that we've learned, it's that one or two people usually have the spark to get things going, but it really does take a team to create a successful impact-giving initiative. So invite your colleagues to the next sessions, and we will take their questions then. Thank you all for joining.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.